And now for something completely different.
Morning, George.
Good morning, Mike.
How are you?
I'm just here to rock your Bruff Superior, Vincent, BSA, Bonneville crowd. This is America right now. Would never pass MOT for your overseas people.
Thank you. Welcome to the cul-de-sac.
The cul-de-sac. Yep. Welcome to my chopper.
George, welcome to the cul-de-sac,
Well,
especially having come all the way from Montana.
Thanks,
as
Mike.
well.
Yeah, it was about 700 miles. So I live in Great Falls, Montana, like smack dab in the middle between Yellowstone and Glacier. So I'm a nice little halfway point. This is one of my bikes, and this is the one that I want to show up at my local vintage club. It's a 1975, I don't even know exactly who even built the frame, but it's registered as a 650 Yamaha. And I haven't changed it since. I think it was a show bike. Basically, I just made it as safe as possible. And it's just a weirdo bike because you start out on the front and the front forks, they're Bader forks. So I love Spanish bikes. And so we couldn't figure out what the forks were in the triple trees. And luckily, there's people smarter than me. And so these came off of a Montesa or a Bultaco. And this is sort of for a trials, like a 247T Montesa or a small Bultaco. The headlight is just your general headlight, but the hand controls are Tomaselli's. So you start with the Spanish forks. Tomaselli is half and half Italian, and then the controls say Matador on them, and they're super cool because they're all adjustable on the fly. It's stuff that came out in the 2000s. It was like cutting edge. And then it has the stupidest grips ever. So this is the American part of the bike. This came with it, these ugly chrome. I don't even know how to take them off. So even the throttle, I think, is a Tomaselli. And then this is your period correct chopper bar. But the big thing about it is that I can't find a comparable. I call it a digger chopper because Arlen Ness, when he was hip deep in the 70s, he made choppers where he brought the engine back really close to the rider's crotch, but it still had a tank on top. So this is the first one. Haven't seen any comparables that have the tank underneath. So this is the original fiberglass tank, and I've coated it like 3 times now, and it just does not seal. So it'll drip a little bit of gas, and actually it's not right now, so maybe the Oregon humidity is helping it. But I figured you can only fill maybe half a gallon. So this is the traditional bar bike. This will go from bar to bar, and it hurts to ride.
What's it like?
It's the worst. I have a Pooch 250 Twingle from the 60s, and I thought that was my worst bike. But this one, and then carrying on, this is just a stock XS650 engine from 1978, so it has electric start. It was a 75, and the reason I got it was the first time and only time so far I've ever bought a motorcycle from pictures. So it was in Virginia, and I knew about it, but it had a bad engine, and luckily I do a lot of side gigs, and a friend of mine gave me a Yamaha XS650. Boom, there's my engine. So I called the guy who was still available. He shipped it to Vegas, and I'm originally from Nevada, so I made a loop down to the Vegas Motorcycle Show late January of 20. By March, it was together and running.
Awesome.
It was relatively easy. Usually it's easy to take engines out, it's hard to put them back in, but this one, it was pretty much just me. And it didn't come with exhaust, but I had a set of these Bates aftermarket exhausts that just fit perfectly. The rear brake pedal is a $1 piece. Back in the day, they actually made, since you're English, I come from Nevada, you play dollar slots, they were dollar coins. And I forgot who's on it because this is upside down, but I think it's Eisenhower. And so we flipped it upside down, and it's the Liberty Bell with the moon. So I think it's from 1976 or this era. So we made a pedal out of that. And then the Kickstarter works. And then this is just a box for all the electronics. And this is the lights. And the lights on the other side is just a Triumph And same with the headlight. You don't need turn signals or anything, but this is 75, so I think that was the cutoff, sort of. It's got a fuel pump on this one. And then these are just what they use on race cars or helicopters or any kind of flight stuff. So that looks kind of cool. There's a switch on the side that is the starter. And I didn't change anything. The K&N's everything, and then the fuel pump was bad, so I learned about fuel pumps because I'm a gravity-fed guy, most of my motorcycles. And the rear seat, once again, it's sort of the United Nations of motorcycles, because that's a dirt track seat, like off of XR 750 Harley, like a flat tracker.
Oh, okay.
Or like Evel Knievel, that's the seat that he used when he
There's the
jumped.
connection right there.
Yeah, it's an Evel Knievel bike. I'm from Montana. Yeah, and it still has the original carbs, and they say Solex on top. And the rear wheel is, I think, a 16 that's been redone. So that's why it sits so low also.
And you're down here for the one show then?
Yeah, so I brought it for the one show, and they accepted it. And it was kind of cool because there was like 300 bikes, and I don't know, about 100 were choppers. Yeah, so Portland's a chopper freaking city. And it was super cool.
It was
super
really cool.
So I got to bring this, and once again, worst bike, because it's tried to kill me twice now. And pushing this bike is beyond hurt, because you're down here and the front end just wants to flop. Everywhere I take it, they don't know what's happening. This is a plunger suspension that BMW used a lot, and BSAs and stuff, but it really had a short window, and I can see why. When I first rode this, one of the suspension mounts broke at about 25 miles an hour, and I just veered off. So try to kill me then. The springs are still in there, but whatever dampening rods, whatever they use inside, we just cut some fork tubes, and now it's a hardtail. And once again, props to anybody that has a true hardtail, because this has no springiness, has about that much foam, and this hurts because there's a lot of roads where every 100 yards they've broken it up. Oh, yeah. Just the worst. Like a cafe racer, it really puts a lot of stress on your arms, but that's the life, the chopper life.
The chopper life.
Yeah. Whoever built this, they did a fantastic job, and I just had never seen anything that had the coffin tank, and that's the style, is a coffin tank underneath, because everybody else had it over. It's super different, and it's long. I was peeling the stickers off of my SV650. So this one says, never make any modifications to the alloy frame, such as drilling or welding. Such modifications will weaken the frame and may lead to an accident. So the farthest I've ridden this is 20 miles. It wasn't charging, and I couldn't have ridden it anymore. So I've got a rectifier to fix the charging issue, but right now it sat outside under a cover over the winter, and I pulled it out, put some starter fluid in it, and it just fired up. I can see why they do so many projects with this engine, but I haven't found any information on it. There was a chopper manufacturer, and it's called Amen Savior, which is kind of cool. And so the rear end is probably from that bike, but the rest of it, this changes everybody's perception, because they really do get a reaction. Everybody gets a reaction from this. This isn't my only bike,
no,
but it's too funny because, I have a van that is a Yamahauler, and everybody thinks I'm a Yamaha guy, and it's like, yeah, so I pull this out. And
you are a Yamaha guy. It's a Yamaha, but they're not quite sure what's happening when that wheel comes out, though, right? Well,
so there you go. I think that's about it, Mike.
Thank you.
Oh yeah,
I really
no problem,
appreciate
Mike.
it, George. I know you got
Which shirt have I?
A busy schedule.
So I'm wearing a Moto Guzzi shirt, and then underneath it is another one.
Oh, there's a Vincent.
There's your Vincent.
Oh,
yeah.
Could have worn that.
So there, I know.
No, I'm kidding you.
Yeah.
Because you do have a Vincent.
And that one has 1 million miles on it too. So.
Because you do have a Vincent, right?
Yes, I have a Vincent Comet.
Yeah. What colour's the tank again?
Oh yeah, I just saw one drive by. It's a Kia green, and it's super like a Kermit green, which was an Indian tank, so that didn't screw up the original. And then the seat is suede that's from a welder's apron, which is the cheapest way to get a good cover on your seat.
Yeah.
And it wears like iron, and it shows patina eventually. I like everything.
Yeah.
That's what was beautiful about the one show it was
salt
awesome, bikes, dirt track bikes, motocross, choppers. So
it was just a great variety,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I loved it. Oh, thanks, George. Really appreciate
No problem,
you coming
man.
over. This is certainly something a little different.
That was exhausting, just doing the cul-de-sac loop.